Let's talk about something big. Why are some people poor? I mean, is it just bad luck? Is it because the system is rigged? Or does it come down to the choices we make? Well, today we're diving into a source that makes a pretty bold claim that the reasons are way more complex and maybe, just maybe, more within our own control than a lot of us think.
And really, it all boils down to this question, right? Is it the system or is it the individual? It's a huge debate, and you see people arguing passionately on both sides. But what's interesting about the source material we're looking at today is that it completely sidesteps that black and white thinking. It says, hey, hold on a second. The real answer isn't either or. It's actually a really complicated and, challenging mix of both.
This quote really gets to the heart of it. It's all about finding that balance. On the one hand, we absolutely have to acknowledge that there are real-world, systemic hurdles that can hold people back. That's a fact. But, on the other hand, the source argues that we can't ignore personal accountability. Our own agency, the power of our choices, our habits, our mindset, that plays an absolutely massive, undeniable role in the outcome.
Okay, so let's dive into the first big piece of this puzzle. According to our source, it's what they call the knowledge gap. And it really all comes down to one thing: financial literacy, or the lack of it.
And the source is super clear about what this means. We're talking about the fundamentals, the absolute basics. Things like budgeting, knowing where your money is actually going. Saving, obviously, but also investing, and a huge one, managing debt. The argument here is simple. If you don't have a handle on these four things, it's almost impossible to get ahead. You're basically stuck in that cycle of just trying to make it to the next paycheck.
But here's where it gets even more serious. This isn't just about missing out on opportunities to build wealth. No. The source points out a much bigger danger. This knowledge gap, it literally makes people vulnerable. It paints a target on their backs for predatory lenders and financial traps that are specifically designed to take advantage of people who don't know the rules of the game. It's not just about not getting ahead, it's about being actively pushed backward.
All right, so that lack of knowledge often feeds directly into the next big idea from our source. Let's talk about what's going on inside our own heads, our habits, and our mindset. Think of it as our internal blueprint for how we deal with money.
So the source draws this really powerful line in the sand between two ways of thinking. On one side, you've got the scarcity mindset. This is that constant nagging feeling that there's just never enough. It's a place of fear, right? It makes you afraid to take even calculated risks because you're so scared of losing what little you have. And then, on the other side, there's the abundance mindset. This is all about seeing possibilities. It's about believing that there's enough to go around, which frees you up to invest in yourself and actually foster growth.
Okay, so how do you actually change that mindset? The source gets really practical here. It says you have to break those old habits, especially impulsive spending, and it lays out a few key steps. First, you've got to figure out your triggers. What makes you want to spend? Is it stress? Boredom? Then you have to get serious with a budget. And finally, and this one is huge, practice conscious delay. That just means when you want to buy something that isn't essential, you force yourself to wait. 24 hours, a week, whatever it takes to break that impulse.
And this quote really nails the whole idea. It's all about the power of consistency. The source argues that the secret isn't about having a huge chunk of money to save all at once. Nope, it's about the habit. It's about those small, consistent actions. Even tiny amounts, saved regularly, start to add up. It's like a snowball rolling downhill. It builds on itself and eventually creates that safety net you need for when life throws you a curveball.
Okay, moving on. The source then takes this idea of wealth and totally expands it. It argues that we need to stop thinking about wealth as just the number in our bank account. Instead, we should focus on building what it calls personal capital. This is about all the other assets we have that are just as, if not more, valuable.
And a massive piece of that personal capital, it's what you know, your skills and your education. The source shows a really clear trend here. You can literally see it. As you move from low-skill work to, say, vocational training, and then up to a specialized skill, the potential to earn more just keeps going up. It's a direct investment in yourself that pays financial dividends.
And this visual just brings it all together beautifully, doesn't it? The source argues your personal capital is made up of these key components. Yeah, education and skills are in there, which we just talked about. But look at the other two: your physical health and your social network. It's not just what you know, it's how well you are and even who you know.
And the point about health is absolutely crucial. The source is saying, look, if you neglect your health, you are taking a massive financial risk. We're talking about chronic conditions, surprise medical bills, the kind of stuff that can completely wipe out years of savings in the blink of an eye.
So, investing in your health isn't some luxury, it's a core financial strategy. So, where does this all lead? How do we take all these different pieces, knowledge, mindset, personal capital, and actually use them? Well, the source wraps everything up with a really empowering message about taking back control. It's all about the path forward.
And here it is, pretty much the whole game plan laid out. The source calls this the roadmap for empowerment. And you can see how it all connects, right? It starts with getting smart about money, that financial literacy piece. Then it's about building those positive habits and shifting to an abundance mindset. You invest in yourself through education and skills. You take care of your health, and you surround yourself with a great network. It's a total package, and the key takeaway is that in every single one of these areas, your personal actions can make a huge, huge difference.
And this is what it's all about in the end. It's a message of hope. The source isn't just analyzing a problem, it's offering a solution. It's a powerful call to action, saying that yes, the challenges are real, but they are not a life sentence. It's possible to break the cycle and build something better.
So we're left with this final thought from the material, and it's a question aimed directly at you. What is just one choice, just one single thing you can do today that starts to shape a different financial future? The point isn't to solve everything overnight. It's about recognizing the incredible power you have in that very first step.